Fans, it's Aztec 101 in the ring. So with Floyd Mayweather, Conor McGregor around the corner, I do want to talk about the possibility of an upset. That scenario is kind of interesting to me because even though I feel that Floyd Mayweather is going to win this fight 100% and he's going to do it impressively, even though I feel that way, thinking about and addressing the upset is interesting. It brings up a lot of different scenarios that could put boxing in a bad spot. Um, the fact that this fight is in a boxing ring puts more pressure on Floyd Mayweather, not just to win, but to win impressively. I think one of the biggest mistakes people can make is that this fight is strictly between Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor, and that's not the case. Floyd Mayweather is right now fighting for the sport, for boxing. And a lot of people, depending on how this fight turns out, they're going to have a conclusive idea of how effective boxing is, not just in the form of a combat sport, but also as a martial art. And this could really affect boxing as a whole, future generations. I mean, I'm not saying this could kill boxing. I'm just saying it'll affect it, you know? Why would someone go into a boxing ring when they look at Conor McGregor and say, hey, you know what? What if I go to a MMA class? I could obviously learn how to fight good enough to beat the best boxer around, right? And that's how they hype up Floyd, right? The best boxer in this generation, pound for pound, one of the greatest to ever do it. And you know what? Even that kind of hype misrepresents what this fight is all about. Um, Floyd Mayweather, even though he's a very good boxer and he's definitely one of the best that's within the context of defense. But he's not the most dangerous fighter in the world. He's not the most heavy-handed. He's not, someone that's beating their opponents to a pulp. A lot of the fights that he's in, fighters will leave the match looking exactly the same as they walked in. And you can't do that when you have the amount of casuals and the amount of detractors when it comes down to people detracting boxing. You won't be able to put up that kind of performance and then sell to them that boxing is really that type of sport. Like, this is a real fight. You'll get fucked up if you mess with a boxer. And I know some people are saying, well, that might be petty, but that's a real conversation. There's that boxing versus MMA, within that context, there's a lot of debate. There is. It's not like MMA doesn't do that with jiu-jitsu. They don't go MMA versus jiu-jitsu or MMA versus kickboxing. They specifically do that with boxing. And that's because we still have, one of the most popular sports still around the world is boxing. And, they obviously want to compete with the most popular. But in the end, when they step into our sport, we bear a responsibility to show why there has to be respect for the sport. So Floyd Mayweather has to beat Conor McGregor. It's not just a sense that he will, it's that he has to. Like, there's a lot on the line, and people are going to view boxing a certain way depending on how this goes. But honestly, I think that if he doesn't, it'll make boxing look terrible. It'll make it look like anybody can just walk in here and beat any of the top boxers without having any professional fights or anything. Golden gloves, nothing. Right? And that's not a good look. It's not a good look. What do you guys think? Is there really that much on the line, or am I reading too much into it? But I honestly, I think that this is going to fall within the context of that argument of boxing versus UFC, And you can hear that even with Conor McGregor talking about how this is half of a fight. This is not even a real fight. It's half of a fight. So he doesn't even feel the essence of danger because, he doesn't feel like he's really in danger. And that has to change. Floyd is going to have to be the guy that does it. And he has to turn back into Pretty Boy Floyd to do that. He can't do that as Money Mayweather. He can't go in there and jab his way to a victory and have Conor McGregor walk out of there talking about how he didn't even feel his punches. That can't happen. That can't. We have to see Conor McGregor at least dazed, hurt. It has to be obvious. Bruise him up, lump him up. But you're fighting for boxing, Floyd. You're not just fighting for yourself on this one. To be honest, there's a lot more on the line than really what the media. It's not just Floyd's really who's going to take a loss? Floyd after gaining 300 million or whatever he's going to get paid, or will it be boxing? All the gyms that will lose out on clients because people are going to think, hey, well, why am I going to improve my hands in a boxing gym when I can do the same thing in a MMA gym? You know what I mean? There's long-term effects with this fight. People are impressionable and they get influenced, and I'm just telling you, man, it's going to look a certain way. So Floyd has to win this fight. Tell me what you guys think. It's Aztec 101 in the ring, and I'm out.